everyone. Welcome. Welcome to our Soul Freedom series. It's so good to be with everyone here again. This is such a special and important time. And today's going to be really, really fun. I am super excited about my guest today. She really truly is here to bring light onto our planet. And I mean, she just exudes it with her radiance and with every word that she speaks. For those of you who don't know her, Keri Nola is a retired psychotherapist, energetic visionary, and founder of the Sacred Soul Circle for healing entrepreneurs, while building and maintaining a thriving clinical practice in Central Florida for nearly a decade. Her work has more recently evolved to support lightworkers in awakening their gifts through products, programs, and retreats. And she's on a mission to ignite a global, heart-centered movement that allows us to remember our truth and to bring our precious light to this planet at this very special time of humanity's evolution. And Keri, I'm so excited we're doing this.
Me too. It's great to be back with you. Thank you for the invitation. I know we always have fun playing together, so I'm excited.
Yes. Yeah. So we're going to talk about abundance today. And, it's funny, what kind of came to me is, you hear about people will receive a settlement, like for different reasons. And, there's all kinds of attorneys involved and, but it's like, oh yeah, they have a settlement, so they're set for life. They don't have to worry about meeting their needs. And I realized, well, what if we all have this settlement from source? We just have to claim it and receive it and remember it. So I know that's a lot of like kind of how you're helping light workers really just kind of claim their settlement. So I want to hear your perspective on that.
Absolutely. And the interesting thing, and some of you may have heard of this phenomenon, is that when we come into larger sums of money than we're used to stewarding, we can combust our nervous system and actually lose it all. Like, have you heard of people winning the lottery or getting a windfall from an inheritance, for example, and their system literally can't tolerate it? And it's like, how did I lose $5 million, like $10 million? Like, how did that just go away? I mean, this is like a phenomenon. It's not just one family or one person that won the lottery or had an inheritance and this happened. So I love this topic of opening to divine inheritance, because the first thing is the claim. And the next thing is preparing our physical vessel to be the steward of more. Mm-hmm. Because if not, we don't see ourselves as one who can steward that. And so we have to get rid of it quickly, which could be unconscious spending. It could be manifesting a challenge of some sort where it costs us a lot of money. Maybe we have to fix the car, or we get a leak in the roof, or there's an illness of some sort, right? So we're very, very wise. And that's why I love talking about how we can empower our nervous system to tolerate more and be able to steward it.
Okay, so I want to hear about this. I want to hear about how because I know you have a scarcity proofing practice. So can you share more about that? Sorry, I think someone is.
That's okay.
Someone here. Okay.
Yeah. So I have a process called scarcity proofing your practice. And before everybody gets too excited, I like to be really transparent that that's not an overnight get rich quick scheme or a foolproof, we never feel scarce again. It is an empowering way to engage in right relationship to our money and our abundance and our business. and our vision so that we understand what's happening when there is a moment of, everything naturally ebbs and flows, right? Just like the seasons. It's not always summer. It's not always winter. So sometimes we may feel more abundant than others. Sometimes we might have more money available or coming in than others. But when that's happening, what do we do? Like, how do we show up to it? Do we realize when there's more, how we contributed to that, how we influenced that? And when there's less, do we also take ownership for why that's happening, how we showed up, how we may have closed or limited ourselves from receiving more? So the scarcity proofing your practice is about upgrading your relationship with money and understanding your starting point, and then the point you're being called into, and getting that version of you online and available to engage with in your life and your business.
So I have a very fundamental question, which I believe is a big paradigm shift, and I think it's important. And my question is do you believe that abundance is our birthright as human beings, or do you see it more from the standpoint of something that we really need to work and earn? Yeah, something that we need to earn and work for.
Beautiful question. I sense the first one, that it is our birthright. However, the ego will come in and may demonize that or misunderstand what that means. Now, abundance isn't only financial. So it doesn't mean, I don't think, that we're all entitled to million dollars, or I think that our soul comes in desiring to experience a certain frequency of abundance, which could come in the form of finances or contentment around having enough. And enough is like being in right relationship with what we have and what we as a soul are meant to have in this incarnation. And that could be an abundance of joy, an abundance of ease, an abundance of family. It could be an abundance of financial wealth. It could be an abundance of connection, peace, or health. We want to broaden our definition of abundance and more, because sometimes our ego comes in and really confuses that. And I think it's our job to get into, I say this over and over, just get into right relationship with the frequency of abundance that we came here to experience. And as long as we're fighting that, it's going to seem difficult. It's going to seem like we're earning it. But those are just human distortions. This earning it, this worthy of it, having to, all of that is just a distortion that we're here to sort out in the duality of humaning.
I love that you just said that. That just, as soon as you said that, something, yeah, that was like a huge download. Okay. So that is a significant perspective, right? Abundance is not just money. Let's say that a couple more times. Abundance is not just money. Okay. And you're right. Okay. So even as you were saying that, I was like, oh yes, that's been a big, So is it our birthright? Do we have to earn it? Okay. Well, yes, it is our birthright to be abundant, but it's not necessarily our birthright to take from it's certainly not our birthright to take from anyone else. It's certainly not entitlement. Yeah, sometimes it's easier to kind of talk about what it's not. It's not entitlement. It's not a specific dollar amount. There's a lot of programming and marketing about let's take you to 7 figures. Let's take you to this amount. And that's not really what abundance is. And that actually limits abundance in a way. What do you think about that? And I need to do something, so keep talking.
Go for it. Yeah. Well, what's coming up for me is what I call aligned abundance. It's not just abundance that we want. I just got off of a call with my healers, and we were talking about sometimes there's an opportunity that could make a lot of money, but what it costs you to participate in that could be more than you're willing to play. So maybe that means taking on a client or a company that just doesn't resonate. Like maybe their value system or the way that they be in the world isn't aligned. So yeah, you might be making, a few $1,000s from it, but what does it cost you to receive that? So I want to know, I don't want to take anybody anywhere other than where they're meant to be going. So I'm not so arrogant as to say I'm going to take you to 6 figures or 7 figures, because I don't know if that's your soul's direction. So what I want to know is your soul informs you and then me as to what is the version of you that is meant to come online. And then we would work toward upgrading that energy and dissolving and transmuting, alchemizing any blocks that would keep you from being that version of yourself. So you can download the wisdom of the next right step, of the next resource or support that would help you to actualize that.
Okay, now I'm on fire. So okay, so it's so funny. Right before our call, I pull this card and it's the Goddess of Shadows. And it says,
of course, that's me. My clients call me the shadow mama.
Oh my gosh, yes. And I remember that is like you're an alchemist. And
take out my shadow cards for us. Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. Yeah, you will have to pull a card. But this said is what you perceive to be your dark side holds a hidden treasure. And yeah,
always. Yeah, always. I mean, to me, shadow work is light work is shadow work, right? Because we're all light. But what we need to find is what's hiding in the dark, because that's where our power is. And oftentimes people think that shadow work is hidden things that are bad or contracted. Yes, sometimes we can hide trauma from ourselves. We can hide pain to cope and to survive in this wild, intense journey of humanness. But we can also hide treasures, which I would argue traumas are treasures too, when we get to that point of them. But we can also hide wisdom and gifts that we have that haven't felt safe to use or to actualize. So maybe me having a voice in my family wasn't appreciated by the grownups who wanted to control and manipulate me and get me to be the person they wanted me to be. So then I said, okay, I'll just be powerless. I'll be small. I'll do what you want, until we reach a point where now we're feeling victimized by the entire world. And we forgot that we're actually creators, co-creating our experience. So we can't just be powerful sometimes. Like if you believe that you're powerful enough to manifest the new job, the amount of money, the love, the health, the whatever, you also have to own that there is an attraction to things that create chaos and crisis as well. You're either creating or you're not, right? And that's a tough one, I think, to own the fullness of our creative power, because our ego takes that to blame, to judgment, to shame. But our soul is infinitely powerful, and it wants to experience the circumstances that will help it to actualize itself, to remember its power. And if we're just powerful all the time and always in touch with that, and we never have anything to polarize that, then we don't really see it. We see it by getting into relationship with the opposite of it, and then we can feel the other side. Yeah. That's a mouthful.
That's powerful. I can feel the power of what you just said, because it's like you will pull in. That's why every moment it's like, what's the perfect person, right? It's the one you're talking to. Where's the perfect place? It's the place you're in, because it's always perfect for your soul's evolution. It's exactly what, whether they're peaceful circumstances or not so peaceful, it's exactly what your soul needs for its next step in its evolution. I love that you're talking about that, right? Because that's abundance, right? Abundance is who we are. Abundance is not, it doesn't take a particular form. It shows up, it manifests as certain forms, but it's who we are. And I love how you mentioned the power of we're creators. Are we creators or are we not creators? You're right. We have to make that decision at some point. And that actually came up for me recently. It was a big moment that I had where it was like, wait a minute, I'm a creator. Like, I'm a creator. And then you have to kind of keep going back to that. Wait, no. And then I could see how the programming comes in. It's like, no, I can't take, I don't deserve to be, it's like, I don't deserve to be a creator.
Yeah.
I don't deserve to be a creator. And then there's this programming that comes in and is like, no, I have to, you know what? I have to suffer some more, I have to earn it. I have to earn it. And then it's like, no. And then that creator that knows, like, no, you don't have to suffer to be loved. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to be punished so that you learn to love. You can be it.
Yes. And I love how you're narrating that back and forth, because it is a decision that we have to make over and over and over again. Am I going to be in my power now? Am I going to be honest with myself about the magnitude of who I actually am? Or am I going to sink into this illusion or distortion? And we constantly have to choose. And I call that supervising our experience, or sitting on the throne of our life. Like, I think there's a big call right now to sovereignty. And it's like reigning over our own life and not allowing ourselves to be manipulated by untruth or another person's emotions or preference or someone else's perspective, but to land in our own knowing, in our own power, in our own truth, so that we can hold. Someone described it to me as being immovable in our truth. But we have to know that truth, and the truth with a capital T, not the little t that our ego, all the stories that spin to help keep us small. I'm not enough. I have to earn it. These don't necessarily go away, but we kind of look behind the veil and we're like, oh yeah, those are those human little thoughts that try to keep us protected. And once we know what they are, then we can choose to supervise them and say, thanks for sharing. And I'm going to take this action. Or this is what feels truer and more authentic to me. So the decision, the journey of being a sovereign king or queen, like ruling over our own life, is a big responsibility. And truth be told, some days we just don't want to take responsibility. I don't want to take responsibility every day. I'm just like, I want to whine, or like my little girl wants to feel so victimized by life. So sometimes I take a break and let her do it. And then we get back up and we tell ourselves the truth, and we go forward and create what we're here to create, be who we're here to be. If you haven't noticed, the world is really dismantling right now. This is a 5-year, which is the Tower card in the tarot. So this is the deconstruction, the death year, the crumbling of structures, of belief systems, of ways of being that are not in highest alignment, and then the rebuilding. So we're witnessing that outside of ourselves, but each of us is also doing that internally. And the reason it's able to happen in the world right now is because so many of us have started that process of dismantling. You see, what we see outside is really just a representation of the collective consciousness and where we are.
Wow. Can you pull a card?
Yes, I
As
can.
you just said that, I was like, I think one of your cards wants to.
All right. So we're going to pull from my Messages from Shadow Oracle deck that I birthed. What was that? 2016. It's been around for a while. Got a lot of mileage. This is the
This is for
original
us.
deck.
This is for everyone listening, everyone who's here and who listens to the replay.
So let's see what shadow is prioritizing for illumination in our collective of this community. Beautiful. So we've got a power card here, the energy vacuum. The energy vacuum. So this clears in our solar plexus, which is exactly what we're talking about. Where are we leaking our energy by believing things that aren't true about ourselves and about our circumstances? Where are we saying yes when we mean no? Where are we playing small when we're meant for so much more? And this drains the energy, drains our power center, drains our access to more creativity and consciousness. And I'm going to read the healing mantra related to this. Where are you? There we go. So every card is related to a chakra, one of our major energy centers, and also has a healing mantra that we can say. And as we bring this through our throat chakra, we make it real. So it says there's an energy vacuum dynamic at play here. What people, places, roles, or experiences are you allowing to drain your energy? When this pattern shows up, an opportunity for energetic self-care has arrived and is asking for your mindful and compassionate attention. Are you willing to acknowledge where you are feeding off energy that isn't yours, and or who you are allowing to feed off of your energy to clear this pattern? And the healing mantra, I invite you to repeat after me. I am worthy of standing in my own energy that is fully capable of supporting me and allowing others to do the same. And usually when we trust ourselves enough to manage our own energy, naturally begin to have a deeper and greater trust in others' ability to do that. And sometimes we rob people of the ability to do that because we're so busy up in their energy, trying to row their boat, trying to manage their energy or their emotions or their life, that they don't even get a chance to do it.
Wow. That was a very important message.
Yeah.
Thank you, Keri. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's
You're welcome.
really want to take a moment. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to put in the chat. I'm sure Keri would be okay to take a couple. We have a few more minutes.
Happy to answer.
Yeah. That was a
And
big one, though.
It is. And I'm not surprised it came up because I think we've been talking about power and the power center. And a lot of us are really reclaiming our essence. Like, it's like what parts of us have kind of floated off, not being honored, not being accessed, not being utilized. And now there is a greater, there's a greater call for more of us to be available and online. Like, it's like all hands on deck right now to help humanity to evolve, to root more deeply, and to expand higher.
I'm so glad. No, I'm so glad that this is coming up, right? Because when we don't stand in our power and we don't access the power source that we all have, we look to, and I love how you said the king and queen of your own life, right? And of your own soul. Well, we're going to look for a king and queen outside, right? We are going to look for a king and a queen in all its different forms. And we recently had a show about the Messiah and the guru and the savior, the mogul, the matriarch, the patriarch, the monarch, right? Like all the different ways that it's shown up throughout the collective and humanity. And that's really, we've created it because on some level, we said, okay, let's play these roles. Like, I'll be superior, you be inferior. I get all the power. You get nothing.
Yes.
And so we play this game, right? And then, but then we forget. So those of us who are the Messiah, it's like we forget, oh wait, all these people are just as powerful. they're just as they're just as gifted. They have all the same gifts. Or when we're, on the other side of that, we forget, oh wait, I actually do have the power within me. I don't have to keep sucking, sucking energy and parasiting off of other people or looking up to someone else and giving my power away. So
Yes.
this is huge.
It really is. And you're so welcome, Linda. I see your beautiful message. So glad you're here with us. Ah, yeah, it's a big call to action, a big invitation to action. Um, yeah, Shauna, I love your question. How do you suggest we lead our children and or our home? Beautiful. I think, we lead best by example. So when we are stewarding our own energy well, when we're in integrity with how we show up in the world and how we handle our responsibilities, I think we're more respected and more honored. It's a way our energy communicates before our words and or with our words. So we can be saying, please do this, or please show up in this way, or this is the expectation in this house. But if our energy says, yeah, but I want to get away with something, or but I don't want to do this, or but I don't want to take full responsibility for myself, then there's like a leak and the words are lacking in authenticity or an integrity. And I think as parents, especially, this can happen because we're grown-ups and we have a little bit more leeway and more choices. And then we have these little humans who are looking to us and they're just kind of following our energetic lead. So if we don't think we're worthy of sharing the burden or having support or help, then we might constantly be getting that reflected back by some who don't listen to us, whether that be our children or our bosses or our partners or our friends. So be clear about what your requests are and where those requests are coming from. Communicate those requests with an open heart. And if those requests aren't met, communicate that, I need this request to be met for this reason. And if it's not, here's what you can expect, so that you give the children a choice of how they want to engage and what they want to do. It's like interesting how we're really, as we steward children, we're really showing them how to operate in the bigger world, right? And we want them to have a yes and a no inside our house, so that if someone is pushing them around outside of the house, they also have a yes and a no. So someone not do it's everyone's right to not do something if they don't want to do it. Doesn't mean there's not consequences or boundaries, but I think that's like the highest form of parenting. I love it, Shauna. See, you're already on track, just a little validation. And I'm no expert. I mean, all of us have to be in relationship with our families and our children the way that we feel called, but that's my energetic take on integrity in parenting.
Yeah, thank you, Shauna. I hope that's helpful for you.
And forgiving yourself when you're imperfect. Let me just make sure I put that in there, because this is by no means, I said this, thing as though, yes, just do this. It's so easy, but we're also humaning. We also have triggers that get activated. So be gentle with yourself.
Yeah. It's totally a moment to moment, and it goes deep. I mean, it goes deep, and the abundance, again, back to the abundance, is like everything that happens is a treasure. It's a treasure. It's has wisdom in it. The emotion, the frustration, the throwing our hands up in the air because we're just tired of this.
Mhm.
that has it has its alchemy. It's got the raw materials for uh, for changing into something else.
Yes.
So Keri, yes, we are coming to the end. Thank you to everyone who is here. Keri, thank you. If you want to tell everyone your website real quick.
Sure. Yeah. KeriNola.com is my primary site. And we mentioned scarcity proof your practice at the beginning. I have a free live stream coming up in a few weeks, and that's at upgradeabundance.com. If you like the flavor of this conversation, that will be, we'll be diving into it then as well.
Awesome. Yes. And I think everyone knows me, but if not, I'm at liveyoursoulsdream.com, and it's always fun. Keri, hopefully we can do this again.
Yes, I would love it. Thank you for inviting me. It's wonderful to be with your community, and I see some of my people here too. Yeah, beautiful. You're so welcome.
Thank you, everyone. It's an honor. And until we meet again, namaste.